Hey you guys, welcome back. Today's drawing prompt is inspired by an artist and author, and his name is Gregory. And I have his book called Art Before Breakfast. And one of the main prompts that he has in this book is to draw your breakfast. So that may seem intimidating for some of you guys who don't usually draw. And although this is a drawing-centered prompt, I really believe anybody can do this. I think it's a great way to talk about the fundamentals of drawing. So, get your plate set up. I always have mine on a plate for this particular activity. And what we're going to go through is looking at how to draw something complicated, breaking it down into big shapes first, looking at negative space and relationships between objects. That might not make much sense to you now, but in my tutorial, I'll really guide you through this process. Okay? Before I leave, I wanted to give you guys a couple of notes on how to stay busy. Oh, Dan, I didn't know you were going to be there. I needed to see my notes on this side. Okay. So I'm going to share some ideas. Sorry, guys, I'm really shaky here. I'm going to share some ideas that I have for how to stay busy. So, number one, all kinds of zoos are live streaming their animals, and I watched the penguins at the Shedd Aquarium yesterday, and it was just so heartwarming. I loved it. Take a look at the virtual tours you can get of museums, and maybe just follow through an exhibition of some kind, do some research on an art piece that you see as you virtually walk through the museum. Another one is yoga. I know I mentioned that before. It's something that I've been doing every day, and it really has helped me. There are local businesses who are live streaming, like Simply Yoga, Core Power Yoga, Nature Yoga, Zen Yoga Garage. These are all Chicagoland businesses who are doing live streaming, so check out their schedules. I also have an app called Down Dog, which is an animated app, and they're opening it up to students and teachers for free until July 1st. And I really love that one. You could do it at any time. Another one you can do at any time if you can't get into the live stream. I think the live stream is really cool because you'll be with real people, right, at that time. And it gives us kind of a connection during that exercise. But if you can't do that, let's say you want to do yoga at 2 a.m. like I did last night, there are pre-recorded yoga classes on Yoga Journal classes online as well. And I've been doing 2 meditations a day. I use an app called Calm. And again, teachers and students, if you haven't taken a look at this app yet, you can also get it for free. Yes, yes. So those are all things that I wanted to share with you today before I start drawing my breakfast. So for my breakfast, I have a plate of a banana and a couple blueberries. Now I promise you that I eat way more than that during my lunch and dinners. Okay. All right, you guys, this is my setup. I'm just going to use a regular pencil here, HB pencil, and this is my favorite eraser if you want to be an art nerd like me. These Faber-Castell erasers are amazing and they're super clean, but obviously, like I said, no particular materials necessary. So this is going to be the breakfast that I'm drawing. The idea of drawing your breakfast is really, really an interesting prompt. More particularly, what I enjoy about it is the idea of this plate, okay? When we first start drawing, a lot of times we will start with the blueberry and get all the little tiny details inside of this blueberry and then get to the next one and realize that this blueberry was not even in the right place to start with. So the idea number one is to make sure that we get a big picture down first. So my first sketch is gonna be pretty rough. Now, I don't have the best working space right now, so you are going to just bear with me here. I'm gonna put more so my drawing on first, okay? So what you see here is a circle, right? So I know my plate is the size of a circle, and that's how I'm gonna start. I got the big picture first, the biggest space first. Now, when I start to draw, before I even draw, I'm gonna put this back onto the screen. So the idea is to look at comparisons and relationships of spaces and images, okay? So, or shapes and objects. So I've got the banana here. This is going to take up a huge part of the drawing. So that's going to be a big shape that I'm going to draw first. I'm going to start out with big shapes. So one of those big shapes is going to be this banana. But relationships that I'm talking about are questions to ask yourself when you are doing your drawing, which is, number one, what is on the plate and what's coming off the edge, right? So now I know that's going to be one of the first big shapes that I'm going to draw. Let me get back on the screen here. I hate that you can't see me doing both at the same time, but so basically what I do is I create points. I say the top of this banana is going to start over here. The bottom of the banana is going to start somewhere over here. And none of this is exact yet. Like, I'm going to be pretty light and sketchy for a while. So I am sketching very lightly my big shape here. And then I'm going to look at where does this meet? Like, how close to the edge is the edge of this banana going to be? So I can see that the bottom part here is getting a little bit closer. The top part kind of goes in this interior circle. That's going to be another shape I'm going to kind of start with. And then I also see that the tip of this banana stem is going to go off, right? So that is my big shape that I'm starting with. Staying pretty sketchy for right now. I can bring in details later, but I'm first gonna bring in the light shapes, big shapes first. Okay, so my next big shape that I'm gonna do is going to be this like outer ring or inner ring here with the plate. So when I look at that, I can start with where it is at the end of this banana and where it begins. So it's going to begin from this perspective. It begins where the stem is connecting. And over here, it's going to be a little bit below where I've got the end of the banana. When I'm going to bring this circle in, I'm going to look at this edge design that I traced a coffee cup for my big circle shape. If you have a circle plate, take advantage of this opportunity and go find something to trace, because there's no reason you have to draw a perfect circle right now. So I'm going in with that like inner design. And basically as I'm creating this, I know from a bird's eye view that this is going to be the same width from the edge here. So now I'm going to start to look at the blueberries, and this is going to be a little bit more time consuming because we're going to start to look at these relationships. Now I want to just, before I start going in and working on this, because I'm going to fast forward that, what I want to do is just talk to you through some questions that I always ask myself, which is, where does a shape begin? What does it line up with? You can use your pencil to do things like this. Look, I can see this diagonal shape right here of where those blueberries are going to start. So when I come back to my paper, I can create a little diagonal line here and know that I'm going to probably start some of my blueberries somewhere over here. Very, very light and sketchy. I'm going to also use this negative space. I know you guys have heard me say this many times, but I'm going to repeat myself over and over again. This negative space isn't something to ignore. This is something that can help you draw. Sometimes we get so caught up in what this shape looks like that we forget to look at the space behind it to help us. So when I look at that space, I can see a shape here that I can create. I can see a shape within here that I can create to help me really understand how to make this work. So I am going to do that, fast forward, and speed up this process so you're not sitting there forever with this video.